What's up, my friends? It's TMX once again. Today, I want to talk to you about the week of review and MetaZoo. This is the third week of September 2025. This was an incredible week for MetaZoo, and you wouldn't know that if you were in Discords, if you were only in the Facebook groups, if you didn't leave your house, you wouldn't know that this was a really incredible week for MetaZoo. If you see certain things, like if you were hanging out in Menace's live yesterday. They were talking about the end of quote. End of quote is coming soon. That was a hot topic, and I'll just touch on that for a second before I return to the review. They were talking about how is quote going to affect MetaZoo. Effectively, I don't think that MetaZoo, the new zoo, is affected by, in a positive manner at least, by quote because people rip old zoo because it's really cheap. I think it really hurt old zoo because it completely devalued old zoo because we found out that, hey, the number of runs aren't correct. There's thousands printed of the Rat King, for example. There's like 12,000 printed cards. So the Rat King prices were destroyed. It might hurt new zoo in the fact that why would you buy a booster box at whatever price, 50, 100, $150, if you can buy a whole case for that of a product that is fun to rip as well. I don't know why though people are still fighting over thousands of copies of the same card. I'm not sure what Tyler Rowe or Ace Alpha is going to do with those products and what could possibly benefit anybody with that product at this point. But so I think that it's not really going to change anything with it ending because there's still everything's still unripped. It's still in warehouses or in people's closets or basements or in their lockbox, whatever. It's still going to be out there. They still have a million supplies. They'll just go to another one of their shallow corporations like Pete, Pete's Football or Prostein or Going Twice or whatever. It'll still be out there. It's unripped. Most of it's unripped still. It's way overprinted. So yeah, there's no real upside to still collecting it. So quote ending it. I will miss getting like binders for really cheap, getting stuffies for really cheap. There's a ton of skateboards really cheap. But I don't think that in the grand scheme of things, this is going to be a blip. It should have just happened under over a couple months. Should have just sold all the stuff and be done with it and moved on with life. Old 2's not coming back, so I don't see it being beneficial to anybody to keep it going or it ending or anything. I just don't. I don't even consider it at this point. But I think it's important to talk about it because it's a hot topic that came up this week. Frostbite Labs has done his last Rip and Show, which is really sad to see. I really enjoyed watching those. I'm not sure where Frostbite Labs is going to go moving forward. I think with quote ending, maybe that's the time for a lot of people to step away because they're not into the new zoo, and old zoo doesn't really exist anymore, despite people getting upset to hear that. So let's talk about the positives. MetaZoo Monday was an excellent one. It was almost a sheesh, not quite. It was really good. MetaZoo Monday, we talked about a lot of things. Spoilers for the new set. Talked about the community, just about different things, like the fact that there's not going to be an app anytime soon. There's not going to be movies and all this stuff anytime soon. Just working on the game, and the game should have OP sometime soon. We're hoping that it comes out sooner than later. I think it was supposed to be in a couple weeks. Another big thing that happened was that so there's this thing called LegendCon in Philly, and LegendsCon is supposed to be like a gathering of TCG artists and voice actors for anime, and it was just like a really unique gathering of people who you normally wouldn't be able to see. Like really big names in Pokemon and just the TCG realm, and big names in anime realm. So a lot of people came out. I had the opportunity. Somebody reached out to me, just said from MetaZoo proper, said very last minute, hey, we're actually going to be at TCG at the Philly Expo Legends Con. Would you like to help out? And at first, I just my weekend was already booked up. Opening happened. I said I could do Saturday. Came down Saturday. It was an amazing time. Absolutely amazing time. So I got to see Pancho, work with Pancho, and I bought every card that I can get signed by him, and I got like 6 first signed Pancho stuff. So that's really cool. I got stuff done by Jet Yates. Jet Yates is amazing. Pancho did. I don't know. I'll put it as art. I'm trying to get my skateboard completely jersey doubled out. Just got to hang out with them all day. Ate Philly cheesesteaks with them. Got to hang out with the guys that I hang out with now. I mean, there's a lot of people who I was involved with Old Zoo that were super cool people who were fans of the Old Zoo, who I just really loved and were close to me. When Old Zoo died, they went their own way. They did their own things. They no longer into zoo, or a lot of them aren't even into TCGs anymore. Honestly, guys like Schmer, just guys that I really cared about that I hung out with, who were good friends. And now I got all these new people who I never thought I would be able to have relationships like that. But there's people like Collector, like Rom Cards, like Layered Worlds, like Steez, Ace Trainer Steez. These are great people in the community, and there are people who I share a lot of time with. Hemp Beard, like there's so many cool people who I didn't think I would ever meet that would be similar to people I've known from before in Old Zoo. So it's the community is building very slowly, but it's building great people and great relationships with each other. And when we all went out to eat, it was like 13 of us, and yeah, it was just an amazing time. So I got to work at the con. Most of the time, I mean, I learned how to use the POS system fairly quickly. I sold product there. I walked around and gave out literally hundreds of promos. Told people about MetaZoo. Told people to come upstairs. You really got like 30 seconds to catch someone's attention before they're like, "Oh yeah, we're done with you." But you got to say, "Hey, this is MetaZoo. It's about cryptids. It's about mythical beasts and magicians and casters and you got to map them all. You got to capture them inside the card after you map the beastie and kind of control them used in the battle. And yes, it's a whole thing, and you got to give them all that information, and then you got to hook them, and then they ask you, hey, what's the card game like? And there's no really like card game like this. It's portions for other card games. It's a little bit of Magic and a little bit of this and a little bit of that, but it's not really. It's different as far as the card game is concerned. So, they're like, oh, is it like Pokemon? It's like, no, not really like Pokemon, or is it like this? But, you sit them down, and I played, I think, 12 games over, a couple of hours. I think 8 hours was the event, and the first hour was really slow because people were on the second floor. So, basically maybe, and then, the last hour is always kind of slow as well. So, like 6 solid hours, I got a good 12 games in, and I lost the majority of those games. But what I did win over was a lot of people's ideas of the game. A lot of people came up in groups, usually. You had a very wonderful woman who was with her sister and a gentleman. I'm not sure the relationship between the gentleman and the rest of the family. He was an older gentleman. I played on them all. And they all were fans of TCGs. They played the game. Not one person disliked the game. They all played the game. Most of them bought some product. They bought either booster boxes, and most of the people bought two booster boxes, got a free um, two-person playmat. Some people bought four. There was a group of, I think, 4 or 6 people who were from Scranton, PA, which I then invited them all to the Discords and stuff like that, invited them to play the tournament we have next month. And they came down, they played the game. They all played the game. I gave them all packs and stuff and decks. We played the game, and they all whooped my butt. But I tried my best. They were all seasoned veterans in card games like I am. And I had the worst deck every time. And by the way, the worst deck is the Earth deck. I will I will hold. I will fight for that. If I stand on that ground. The fire deck is the best deck in the alpha decks. Anyway, so everyone would take the fire deck. They would pick it over the earth deck, and I would get rocked. But hey, it is what it is. They had a good time. They played and stayed and learned. They learned fairly quickly. Everyone kind of picked it up. If you played card games and you're there at a card tournament, a card convention, you're probably a card game player. They just jumped in and they already knew how to play after a couple minutes. It was golden. And not one person that I played with or played against, like a side of, because Rom Cars was also playing a lot of people too. So he was playing as much, if not longer, than I did that whole day. So you add up, maybe double it. So if I played 12 games, he played 12, maybe 24 different groups of people played all day long. I didn't hear a negative thing about the game. Everyone bought something, whether it was just a pack or several booster boxes or whatever. They met the artist, got stuff signed by the artist. We're giving free packs away to kids. We had the spin wheel. Spin wheel was really cool. But yeah, it was such a crazy day. I hate to use that word. Sorry, it was such a wild day. I came down, woke up at 5 a.m., rode with Rom, came down to the convention center, had to find the correct door at the convention center. Went upstairs. We're all the way up in the middle of nowhere, so we came downstairs and made sure people would come upstairs. We we worked all day. It was good, but it didn't feel like work. It felt like hanging with the boys and girls and people who aren't either. All people that were there for similar reasons. Like they're there to have fun, to enjoy each other. They're not looking for all the negatives in the world. They're not sitting behind a computer in their basement looking to have all these convictions, all the negative things come out. They're here to have a good time, and they had a great time, and I had a great time, and it didn't feel like work. I got compensated well. We went out to eat afterwards. Rich collector had a perfect place for us to eat. I said, "Let's go to this place." I used to work right off the block here. We moved our office. They're like, no, we got the perfect place. We got dim summed all up. It was delicious, and got home at a decent hour. Got to bed. Felt amazing. So for that reason, I know all the things happened this week. Just all kinds of stuff we could talk about. But the most important thing was MetaZoo is going to places that aren't necessarily big conventions where they can get lost, or smaller conventions where they can have those interactions with people. People are liking the game. We're doing research and development in person. MetaZoo is showing that it is important to be a part of the community and to bring out the positives in the community. And if you're on board with that, that's cool. So no matter what the future has for New Zoo, I live in the moment. And the moment of this weekend was absolutely, positively. So that's my week. Doesn't get much better than that. I hope you had a good week. I hope you stay cool. I hope you do good. And I hope you are nice to each other. All right, y'all. Peace.